Hey everyone, Matt from the Rich Jerk here again, and now we finally get into the nitty-gritty of it all. This is all about creating a system to add massive amounts of fans to your fan pages, otherwise known as the FaceJerk traffic system. Okay, now it's time to get to the good stuff. In this video, we're going to talk about the Rich Jerk's step-by-step system for basically milking Facebook for all the traffic you possibly can. This video is about creating assets that feed into other assets. So you're basically creating feeder accounts and you're creating primary accounts. Feeder accounts are about getting traffic, primary accounts are about making money. We're also going to talk a little bit about the monetization of these assets, and we're going to talk about how simple, easy, and effective this method really is. And as soon as you see the method laid out before you, I am 100% positive you're going to be slapping your head saying to yourself, why didn't I think about this before? Because it really is simple, easy, and effective. Okay, so step one in the FaceJerk system is getting set up. Okay, so this is the type of thing you'll need to start doing before you even think about creating any accounts on Facebook. So here's what you'll need to do this. First off, there are some tools that we highly recommend you use. The first is proxy servers, and this is basically to hide your footprint. Now, whenever you create lots of accounts on Facebook, keep in mind that Facebook is designed to be a social networking website, and that means that they only want people interacting with other people whom they already know. Okay? So whenever you try and game the system to try and make money by adding tons of people who you don't know for the sole purpose of using them to make money, Facebook doesn't like that. So when they see people creating tons and tons and tons of accounts, that automatically sets up an alarm and they're going to start banning those accounts. You don't want that to happen, because if you're going through the time and effort to do the FaceJerk system, you need to hide the fact that you're doing it from Facebook. And the only way to do that we know of is through proxy servers. Now, some of you might be wondering what a proxy server is. Basically, a proxy server is a server that you connect to that then connects to the internet through a different IP address. So an IP address is basically a specific type of number that you tend to connect to the internet through. I don't know how better to explain it because I'm not a tech guy. But when you connect through a proxy server, that IP address changes. So what happens is that if you're doing something that Facebook doesn't like and it bans you, it doesn't ban you personally, it bans that proxy server. Okay? So you can just toss that server aside and get a new one and reconnect through Facebook that way. So it's really important that you use a proxy service that allows you, every time you connect to the internet, to change your IP address, because every time you create an account on Facebook, you want to be using a different IP address just so Facebook can't track what you're doing and ban you. So you can use a service like SEO-proxies.com in order to do this. There's a bunch of other services out there that can help you get proxies. Some are public proxies where it's free to get them, but they basically burn through them really fast because a lot of people are using them. It's usually best to pay for a private proxy service so you get some quality proxies that aren't going to be burned up as soon as you use them. Another thing you're going to want are lots and lots of Gmail accounts or other free email accounts. This is easy enough to do. You just create a new Gmail account whenever you need them. And you're going to be using these accounts to sign up for new Facebook accounts. So, just keep in mind that if you're going to do this, you're going to need a lot of these, because you're going to need a new account for every Facebook feeder account or fan page account that you create. And finally, we highly recommend that you check out this piece of software called Facebook Blaster Pro to automate the process of adding friends to your feeder accounts. Now, this is optional. You can add friends manually, but Facebook Blaster Pro just makes it easier, especially if you're outsourcing the task, because you can just give your outsourcer the software and they can go through the videos on how to use it and start adding lots and lots of friends to your accounts. Okay, step two of the FaceJerk system is to create feeder accounts. So let's talk about setting up feeder accounts. Basically, what you want to do is right off the bat, you want to create 5 new Facebook accounts using 5 different email addresses and using a new proxy for each account that you create. So when you create one new account, you're using one new email address and you're using a new private proxy. When you log out of that, and you're getting ready to create a new account, change up the proxy so you're doing it from behind a different IP address. This is really, really important. The second really important thing is that every feeder account you make, you want the account to be a profile for a cute girl. Okay, this is key. Cute girls get lots and lots of friends on Facebook. There's just no way of getting around it. If you create a Facebook account for a fat, sweaty, hairy guy, when you start sending out friend requests, people are going to look at that and be like, I don't like this guy. I don't want to become friends with him. But if you're a cute girl, people are going to be much more receptive to adding you as a friend. That's just the way the world works, I guess. But this is very, very important. Every feeder account you create must be for a cute girl. Now, that being said, don't make it a sexy account. Don't put girls with pictures in their underwear or suggestive or stuff like that. You want it to look as natural as possible. You want it to look like a real girl. And when you create these accounts, take some time to set them up right. Include some pictures, create some information, just make it up, put up a few status updates, like, hi, I'm new to Facebook, I love this thing, and, anybody know how to upload a picture, blah, 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 stupid updates like that, okay? Now, you can get pictures of cute girls off of most iStock photo, type websites. You can use pictures of your friends if you want to. It really doesn't matter where you get the pictures from. Just keep in mind that the more realistic you can make the profile, the more likely people are going to accept you when you send out friend requests. Okay? The whole purpose of creating a feeder account is to get people to become your friend. So the more realistic you can make it, the better. The next thing you want to do after all the profiles are set up is add each profile as a friend to the other profiles. So if you create 5 new Facebook accounts, make sure that they're all friends of each other. Okay, this will just get the ball rolling. You'll have at least 4 friends per account. That makes it look like you know some people on Facebook. So when you're just starting out, it helps just having a couple of friends already on there. So just keep in mind, the more natural the profile looks, the better. You want to have natural looking pictures, a few status updates, a couple friends, and have it be of a cute girl, and boom, you have a very nice, natural looking profile that's going to get people to want to become friends with it. So step 3 after you've created the profiles is to start adding friends. Okay, so we're going to go through some basic methods of adding friends, and we'll get into some more advanced methods. The basic method is about just getting you started right off the bat. And the easiest way that we've found to get people to add you as a friend, and this is a great method to have about 200 to 400 friend requests a day, is to add the Mafia Wars and Farmville game applications to each profile you create. Okay, Mafia Wars and Farmville are 2 extremely popular social gaming platforms on Facebook. That means that in order to play these games, you have to get your friends involved in order to be competitive on them. So the more people who play these games, the more they get their friends involved. The bigger the games get, the more money the game makers make. But that also means that people, if they want to do well in these games, they need a lot of friends. So basically what you're doing is you're going to, as soon as you add these applications, you're going to join friend add groups for these applications. So people who play these games have created groups where they're basically just groups dedicated to adding friends so they can basically max out the number of friends you can have in these games. So for instance, Mafia Wars, the more people you have in your Mafia, the more fights you can win in the game. So they have groups dedicated to adding players in Mafia Wars to get, some people get up to 500 friends on these things. So this is a really good way to add friends really quickly. So all you need to do is just do a Facebook search on, Mafia Wars friend adding or Farmville friend adding or something like that, and you'll get a list of groups dedicated to adding friends just for these games. So what you want to do is you want to sign up for all these groups. You don't need to sign up for too many of them, just 1 or 2 will do. And then every single day, when you log into your account, you go to these groups and you put a post on the wall asking people to add you as their friend. And if you're a cute girl, if you're a profile for a cute girl and you put up a post on these things asking people to add you, you're going to get tons and tons and tons of people contacting you to be your friend. And this is a good way to just get the ball rolling on a lot of these accounts of yours and make it look like, again, you're just a normal person with a lot of friends. So here's an example of a friend adding group. As you can see up here, it says Mafia Wars friend add group, 1 million members in 14 days guaranteed. Now that's, I don't know about getting 1 million members in 14 days, but as you can see, this is their wall, and you have a lot of people who've joined this group on the wall, and they just say add me. They give the level of their Mafia War account, and they say please add me, blah blah blah. So what you're going to do is every day after you join these groups, you're going to go to their wall, just like it is right here, and you're going to do a post on the wall just like these people do, saying add me. And when people come and check out the group, they're going to go through this list on the wall, and they're going to send you a friend request, and it's going to basically really grow your friend base for your feeder accounts fairly quickly. So you may be wondering why you want to start off this way. Well, basically, as I said before, it's the quickest way to get your new Phony Profiles friends really, really fast. Okay, so you put up, one post on a couple of these things. By the next day, you've got at least 10 to 40 people contacting you wanting to be your friends, and that's a very powerful way to start off each new account, especially considering the fact that you don't have any real friends to begin with for these accounts. This will further make your feeder accounts look more natural to other Facebook users, because when you start requesting friends, an account that has 0 friends or just a handful of friends doesn't seem like it's like all that real. It seems like what it is, which is a spam account. But if you have a number of friends, that makes it look more natural to Facebook users, and that's going to increase the odds of them adding you as a friend. Also, it can give you a nice boost to your friend adding efforts, even though most of the friends that you get off of these types of groups are going to be relatively low quality. So you're going to get a lot of other spammers. You're going to get a lot of people who aren't likely to buy stuff. A lot of these guys, they'll add you, and then they'll just either set their profile to ignore your updates, or they'll defriend you or whatever. So you're not going to get a lot of quality people from these sites, but you will get some numbers which will help you in the short term. Alright, so let's talk about advanced methods now. The first advanced method is to use Facebook Blaster Pro to find friends for you. And basically what this software does is it goes out and it scrapes other Facebook groups, profiles, or fan pages, harvests the IDs, the profile IDs of all the people who are fans or friends of that page, and then it can send out friend requests for you. So this is really good for outsourcing the friend adding portion of the Facebook system. So you get the software, you tell them, okay, go out and find other fan pages or friends that have a lot of IDs on them, or a lot of fans on them. Use the software to scrape the IDs, and then then use the software to basically send out friend requests. It's pretty easy to do, and the software makes it really, really quickly. So if you scrape a page that has 10,000 fans on it, you'll get 10,000 Facebook IDs, and then every day you can just go through and request 45 friend requests just from that list until that list gets used up, in which case you scrape another page and you do the same thing over and over again. Now you have the option to do that, or you can just manually begin adding friends, and this is the cheap-asses way to do it. So basically, there's lots of ways you can do this. In your profile page, Facebook suggests people that you can become friends with. It'll give you a lot of people that you might want to become friends with. You just go through the list and click, yes, I want to be this person's friend. Yes, I want to be this person's friend. Then you can go to the profiles of other people who are already your friends and just go through their friends list and send invites to those people with a little message saying, hey, I noticed you're friends with so-and-so. So am I. We should get to know each other. Blah, blah, blah. Finally, find fan pages related to the ones that you want to create and manually invite people from them. So if you want to create a fan page that is a riff off of the Can This Pickle Get More Fans Than Nickelback page, you would want to go to that fan page and go through its fan list and invite those people to become your friends. So that's a really important little technique that you can use. As you can see, this isn't rocket science. It's pretty easy to do. It's all about just finding as many people as you possibly can to become friends with. So here are the best practices for adding friends. Now keep in mind that Facebook is extremely aggressive in eliminating spammers. They do not like their services to be used for spam purposes. So if you're just all about mass adding friends, then they think that you're up to no good and they're going to ban your account. If they see you trying to add lots of friends, they will try to slow down your friend adding efforts, or they will just straight up ban your account. This is because they personally believe that a natural user will only add certain numbers of people to their account per day. So if they see you go over this, they will basically freeze your friend adding efforts, so you won't be able to add friends for that account for like 48 hours or something along those lines. Or if they notice a pattern of you trying to add lots and lots of friends every day, they'll just peg you as a spammer and ban your account. So one of the best practices that you want to follow is to never add more than 45 friends per account per day. This is really important. If you go over 45, like if you hit the limit of 50, you're going to start running into trouble where Facebook slows down your friend adding efforts, and then that you lose a good 1 to 2 days of friend adding potential for that account. So you don't want to do that. You always want to make sure that you do 45 friends or less per account per day. Now that doesn't seem like enough, does it? I mean, 45 friends per day isn't a lot. But if you do that for 5 different accounts per day, that's 225 friends per day total. Okay, 45 per account for 5 accounts. So the more accounts you have, the more people you can add daily. So instead of trying to just mass add tons and tons of friends for one account, you want to add a little number of friends to lots and lots of accounts. Now, there are some people out there who break this rule and add a lot of friends per day. In fact, we've heard of people uploading massive lists of email addresses, like up to 5,000 email addresses at a time, and adding them as friends and stuff like that. But those people really run the risk of having their accounts banned. We here at the Rich Jerk personally believe that slow and steady wins the race. You're not in this for a quick fix. You're in this to build lasting business assets that are going to make you money over the long term, so you can afford to devote a little bit of time and effort over the long haul to build these assets and make money and do things the right way. Okay. Step number 4 is to add new feeder accounts daily. So you want to keep growing your assets. So with the friend adding process, basically you create 1 new feeder account per day after the initial 5 accounts, and you always want to use a new IP address and a new email address every time you create a new account. Then you repeat the setup rules from before in terms of creating the account. Remember, make it a cute girl, make it look natural. Then you continue adding friends to the old accounts and the new ones. Okay, so you go through the process of going to the friend ad groups and advertising your profile on there, and also adding 45 friends per day per account for each account. And you want to grow each account as its own asset. Okay, so you got to look at each account as a specific type of stock, I guess you'd call it, and you're building a portfolio of these assets. And keep in mind that each account can have up to 5,000 friends before it's maxed out. For some reason, Facebook doesn't believe that real people can have more than 5,000 friends at a time, so they put that cap on it. So once your accounts get maxed out, you have to create new ones anyway and move on. But the good news is that you now have an asset that has access to at least 5,000 people through Facebook, which is really important. So once you've created all the feeder accounts, the next step, step 5, is to create fan pages. And this is about building your main asset base. So let's talk about creating fan pages. Basically, when you create fan pages, you do not want to use feeder accounts to create fan pages. You want to use new accounts and new proxies to create the fan page. Do not put the fan pages on feeder accounts. I repeat, do not put the fan pages on feeder accounts, okay? You always want to keep your main money-making assets separate from the traffic-getting assets, because the traffic-getting assets are far more likely to be found by Facebook and banned and deleted, okay? So you always want to separate your money-making asset from the traffic assets, because you're going to be funneling traffic from the traffic assets to the money-making assets anyway. So the traffic assets eventually become expendable, whereas the money-making assets do not. So whenever you're creating a new account, make sure that you only do one fan page per account, and you always create it through a new private proxy, and that private proxy is different every time you log in to minimize your footprint. The next thing you want to do, and this is just a cautionary measure, is to add multiple admin accounts to your fan page. Okay. Now, when you're managing your fan page asset, basically you can add other people to become admins for you, and you want to do this specifically because if Facebook should somehow find out that, okay, you're associated with all these spam accounts that are being created or what have you, and something should happen where your account gets deleted, okay? If you're the only admin for that fan page, your fan page will also be deleted. And you don't want that, especially if you're spending all this time and effort building it up. So you always want to create more than one admin for your fan page. And these can be other accounts that you own, or if you want to be really super safe, add actual friends of yours as admins, so that you can just make sure that if all of your spam accounts get deleted, then there's at least one legitimate person on there who's an admin for the page to make sure that the page doesn't get deleted. Okay. Finally, set up fan pages as described in the previous video. We gave you some best practices on how to create proper fan pages in the video on creating fan pages. And basically you want to have a really good title, because most people will become a fan just based on the title alone. And you want to make sure that the fan page is of quality and delivers good content to your people, so that you have a nice quality fan following on those things. Okay, now remember, your fan pages are your money assets, so always treat them with care. Always be sure that if you're going to log into your fan page assets, that you do it from a different IP address, and that you always make sure that there's some type of separation from your feeder accounts. So you don't want to have your feeder accounts associated directly with your fan pages. Treat those things like they are the golden goose, because they are. Step 6. Invite friends to your fan pages. So let's talk about inviting your friends. Once you max out an account, or you have at least 1,000 friends in a feeder account, you want to start inviting them to become fans of your page. And the best way that we found to do this is to use a JavaScript code to invite all your friends at once to become fans of a page. And don't worry, we'll provide this JavaScript code to you with detailed instructions on how to use it. Step 7, repeat and grow. So you want to keep growing your fan pages. And you do this by creating new fan pages. You keep sending fan requests to your feeder accounts. You keep adding new feeder accounts and adding friends to them. And the more fans you get to your pages, the greater the likelihood they will go viral. And at that point, other people are growing your fan pages for you. And that's where the real fun starts. Finally, step 8, monetize your fan page. So let's talk about monetizing. This is where you actually get your fan page to start making you money. And the best way to do this is through email updates and wall status updates. And we're actually going to go more in depth into these tactics in a different video. So now that you know the system, and that's pretty much it, 8 simple steps, not very difficult, right? Not rocket science. Now it's time for you to start doing it. Do it yourself or outsource the system just like we explained it to you, and start building massive traffic assets on Facebook. This is really, really powerful. If you have a portfolio of fan pages that have, tens of thousands of fans on them, that gives you a lot of power to make money. And we're going to be talking all about that in another video. So I would highly recommend you guys go through this video again, go through every single step, understand it, and actually start applying it, because it's very, very important that you begin utilizing these concepts and actually start using them to make money. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you on the next one.